And want to welcome you and thank you. I'm really grateful that we're here, that we can be together here tonight to talk about how to be successful in summer school with Hastings and Prince Edward District School Board. So again, really excited for this summer to come up. We just listened to Schools Out for the Summer, which is highly ironic because a lot of us are excited for the end of the semester, but also equally excited for the beginning of summer school. So happy that you're here with us today. And as we meet, I do want to just acknowledge that we are situated, or I am right now anyway, on the unceded land and territories of the Anishinaabe, Wendat, and Haudenosaunee peoples. And I recognize the ongoing harm that our education system has done to our Indigenous families. And I pledge through my work to recognize these harms and support their voices, to rebuild and honor the trust that was betrayed, and ensure that all families have an inclusive, equitable, and respectful community. So a lot of gratitude there for us and our ability to meet here tonight. Just a couple of housekeeping things before I share the roadmap of where the evening will go. If you could just ensure that your microphone is off, and feel free to turn it on if you have a question. But most of your questions probably will be best handled if you put them in the chat, because Ms. Ferris is monitoring that chat. She'll be able to answer many of them, and she'll grab my attention if one of the questions would probably be really useful for us to talk about. And where we are going tonight. Well, first of all, welcome. Really happy that the summer is finally here. And we're going to take a look at the whole purpose of tonight. And we're going to take a look at the online classroom for summer school, what that looks like. Talk about attendance, what that means, and online learning for the summer. What supports are available to yourselves. That is students and families, and also the communications that you should expect throughout the summer, beginning next week, that will help you engage successfully in this really great program that we call summer school. The whole point of why we're here tonight is because our whole job is to ensure student success in summer school. So everything that we do, all the engineering, all the thoughts and all the work go into making it as possible as it can be for students to be successful in their learning. So all your teachers, myself, all the guidance counselors like Ms. Ferris, all the support staff behind the scenes, everything we do is for students to be successful. We know that students are most successful when they're surrounded by a wraparound support. And what that means is families, teachers, student success teachers, guidance counselors, everybody is surrounding that student and rooting for them to be successful. And if the student knows that, they're very much more likely to have a higher level of success than if they feel alone and isolated. So I invite all of you families to be active participants in your students' or your child's learning. And I also invite you to communicate with myself, with the teacher, and with the student success teacher, as well as your homeschool guidance team, to make sure that everything is going well and that everybody has the conditions and tools they need to be successful. I want to welcome all Hastings and Prince Edward District School Board families and students. We also have families who are from other school boards who are taking courses with us this summer, so I want to welcome you as well. And I also recognize that some of you will be taking summer school courses with other school boards, and you should be receiving some welcome information for those school boards as well. If you are taking a course in another school board, you should know that some of the things that you'll hear tonight may be a little bit different in that other school board. But generally, if our central theme tonight is how do we make summer school successful for students that will be consistent across the entire province. So let's take a look at summer school for grades 8s going into grade 9s and for grade 9s to 12s. So in Hastings and Prince Edward District School Board, our summer school program is through online learning. So there's no need to go into a building at any time during the summer, a school building, I should say. All of your learning and all of the teaching happens online. Now, this is not the online learning of COVID, where you'll be on a Google Meets throughout the day with your teacher. This is an online learning format that's been around for about 17 years and has evolved into a pretty successful learning modality or style of learning. So what it will look like is there is a teacher there on the other side of the computer, and they are interacting with students and making sure the content is engaging and communicating what the task is for each day. And we'll talk about that a little bit further as we look at the classroom. So they are there for you. This is a full teaching model style of learning. Your students or yourselves are not alone on your side of the computer screen doing independent learning on their own. So please make sure that you really do understand that there is a teacher who is there working really hard to make the experience as best as it can be, but also there if you have any questions or concerns. So if you have a question, communicate with your teacher. And probably the second rule of successful online learning is if you haven't annoyed somebody by communicating too much, then you're not communicating enough. Lots of questions and lots of interaction. That's really what we want. So I see a question, FaceTiming. So that's a good question. We'll talk about that in a little bit further, but the short answer is your teacher will have videos posted of themselves explaining and introducing and telling stupid teacher jokes probably every day. But those are kind of, you just kind of watch those videos. So it's not an interactive video. Our teachers will also have 1 or 2 days a week that are office hours. And so there'll be a Google Meet just like this. And you can pop in, ask questions, get to know your teacher, and they can check in to make sure everything's going well with you as well. So there is a little bit of FaceTiming, but not a lot. The online learning classroom. So we use a virtual learning environment that is called Brightspace, and it's created by a company called D2L. I think they started in Kingston, actually. And Brightspace is the virtual learning environment in many districts globally, certainly in the United States and also in Canada. And if you have any siblings or know anybody who's in university, you'll know that pretty much every university in Canada uses this very same virtual learning environment. And I'll give you a tour of that in just a little bit. Well, because this is online learning, one of the first things you got to make sure is all tuned up for the start of school is having a good internet connection. So that means that at certain times of the day, you'll probably notice that the internet is a little more laggy than at others. So you may want to schedule your learning to happen when you know that the internet is going to be pretty stable and firing through the pipe at full blast. So that definitely is a requirement. And the second requirement is you're going to need some device that's going to allow you to interact in the virtual learning environment, whether it's a Chromebook, whether it's a computer. Those things are probably best. Students have used tablets of different varieties, and they have used their phones, but they are definitely not ideal. And the reason why they're not ideal is because the screen on a phone is about this big, and the experience you get and the interactivity with certain digital learning tools is pretty compressed and reduced when you're looking on such a small screen. Christina, A, MacBook works? Yes, absolutely, for sure. So I do suggest having a computer or Chromebook available to yourself. You can have a second monitor. That definitely is a luxury, but it is not necessary. I find that in my work, that when I'm forced to work on my laptop, I feel a little bit constrained and frustrated. So I definitely have a second monitor. Definitely, it is not necessary. Everything will display very nicely on a screen. The virtual learning environment works best on a Chrome browser, and but it also works equally well on Safari if you're using a Mac, or even Edge as well. Most browsers will work fine. I suggest Chrome just because it interacts pretty seamlessly with other Google assets or products that may be of use for you in the course. I do want to spend a moment on the last point, which is make sure that you schedule space and time for your learning. In the summertime, I don't know about you, but my house is pretty busy. I've got a golden retriever named Bo, who's pretty demanding. I've got grandma, and we have 5 kids, and there's always something going on in the house. And so it is super important that I find for myself some space in the house where I can focus on my work, and that should be true for you and your learning as well. Sitting at the kitchen table during breakfast time trying to do your work may not be the best solution because of lots going on around you. You want to allow yourself to be relaxed and comfortable. Ergonomics is really important here. So lying on a couch all day doing your online learning, that may introduce some physical discomfort for you as you do that for the entire month. Preferably at a desk, in a chair where you can be comfortable is definitely prime. Scheduling time is a little more tricky depending on your household. Some of you and your children have summer jobs, and so some students prefer to do their online learning in the evening after their summer job is completed, and that is completely fine. If you want to do some learning in the morning, take a good break in the afternoon over lunch, and then do some more learning in the afternoon as well, you really have to figure out what's going to work for you. I should say that nobody does really well when they're staring at a screen for 5 to 6 hours a day. There's a time when your body gets tired, your eyes get tired, your brain gets tired. You can't actually learn anymore because you hit what's called a cognitive limit. And you really have to recognize that, I don't want to do this anymore right now. Get up, go do some push-ups, go cut the lawn, go walk the dog, run through the sprinkler, do some nice house chore for your family so they feel appreciative and give you an ice cream. Do something summary, but then come back to your learning once you feel like you've had that break. You can call it recess if you want to. That's what we do in our house, and everybody recesses at their own time. So listen to your body, be really intentional and mindful about your comforts and your physicality, where you're learning, and when you're going to be engaging in your learning. I'll stop there for any questions related to the classroom and scheduling, and just being really intentional with yourself or with your children about your work.
Jay, I'll read out the ones in the chat so we can catch up with the ones that are in the chat. I'm typing as fast as I can, but
yeah.
First off, can students use MacBooks?
Yes, absolutely, for sure.
And we're wondering how many hours a week students should be working on their course.
That is a great question, and we'll tap into that later. The short answer is we are obligated to offer 6 hours of learning a day by the ministry. And that is really important because we're taking an entire secondary school course and we are compressing it into 20 days. So in order to authentically learn, assess, and demonstrate learning of an entire course, that, if you do the math, is 5.5 or 6 hours of learning a day. Now that's going to That's going to differ depending on the day or your teacher or the pacing. But you should get your head around that big number of 6 hours of learning a day. So it really is equivalent to 1 day of online learning in a course is the same as taking a normal face-to-face course over 5 days. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all compressed into one day.
That time is flexible, Jay?
Yes. So when you do those learning hours is up to you during the day. And the actual amount of learning that you do during the day will depend on, the assignments. Maybe you get through an assignment rather quickly on one day, or you've got a work day that's been assigned, or the teacher has paced the course in such a way that maybe there isn't as much on one day as another day. What won't happen is 2 hours on one day and 8 hours on another day. That won't happen.
Are there exams?
Yes, in a sense. I guess it depends on your definition of exams. There are final culminating activities, which could have an exam-like component, depending on the course that you're taking. You won't be expected to go into a school building and write a proctored exam. So any final culminating activity or exam, if you want to call it, that you'll do at home will keep in mind that you're doing that assessment at home and unproctored. So you should probably expect it to be not so much knowledge-based, things that are easily Googleable or easily look upable in your notebook, but probably more connection questions. So these two ideas, how do they relate, or what are your opinions? What are the pros and cons? Those style of thinking questions. Now, some courses won't have that test at the end. They'll have other types of assignments that comprise your final culminating activity. So that will be 30%. Usually there's different parts to it. It's not just one assignment. And then the rest of the course is 70% of your whole mark. Good question.
We're also wondering, is there flexibility on deadlines for assignments? And when are the assignments due?
Sure, that's a great question. That really is going to depend on your teacher and what that flexibility is going to look like. And you should really connect with your teacher right away and make sure you understand, is this a hard deadline? Like, I cannot submit this past this time. Typically, most teachers, in my experience, if you ahead of time let them know that there's some limitation or condition that's going to make it really challenging for you to meet that deadline, most teachers I know have flexibility in when you submit those. The only non-flexible deadline is July 29th. And we don't have a lot of the luxury of time in summer school. And I'll address this a little bit more further on. So that means that you won't be able to hand in those assignments that you missed handing in after July 29th. That iron door is closing, just like in Indiana Jones, when the brick door is closing and he has to run and scooch under, and he forgets his hat, and he reaches back and gets his hat. That would be what July 29th will mean for you for assignment completion and flexibility.
We have someone, and maybe there's others who are affected by this too, that they're on vacation or going away for a bit of time during it. Is it okay if they don't log in for a day or two and then get back to it?
Sure. Yeah. I was going to leave that until the attendance portion, and we'll return to it again because it is important. Okay. So just like school, you gotta reach out to your teacher and make an arrangement. And it becomes very difficult if you miss a day to get caught up. And if you think about the 6 hours, if you're away Monday, and then Tuesday, you have 6 hours from Monday, and then 6 hours from Tuesday, so that you can see how that will compound really quickly. So from the lens of being successful in this summer school program, you should really minimize those gaps, those gap days. Now, you can work on the weekend on your learning, so that can be part of your catch-up. It's not expected that you do any learning over the weekends, but of course, some folks either want to get caught up, or they've asked their teacher, can I get ahead because I'm going to miss, I have an appointment, or you know, the Belleville pool just opened, want to hit that first day. I don't think that's a legitimate excuse, but it may be something. We're going camping, and you know, we're not going to have internet while we're driving, but we'll have internet when we get there. Those types of things, you should really connect with your teacher about those to make sure they're okay.
Okay, you've answered a couple of them there. So you're going to be talking about attendance in another slide, so maybe we wait for some of these attendance ones till you get there.
Good call. Thank you, Ms. Ferris. Okay, with that, let's take a look at what the classroom's going to look like. So Brightspace, created by D2L. We're going to take a look at how to log in, and then I'll give you a class tour and how to navigate within your classroom. If you are from another school board, everything that I'll show you will be true, except that you will log into your home school board's virtual learning environment, and I'll show you where your class will populate when you do that. So the first thing to do, I should go to the Hastings and Prince Edward District School Board website. So that's just an easy Google, HPEDSB.owen.ca, and you'll recognize this. Oh, look, that's us. Summer School 2025. That's right now. That's so exciting when something actually, I've been waiting months for this, I have to tell you. So I'm super happy that this is happening. So where do you find the link to the virtual learning environment? Well, if you look at the top in this extremely microscopic font up here, you'll see VLE. So you can click on that to go to the login page, or I think there's one of these guys. Oh yeah, there it is there. You can also get to the VLE from any of your homeschool websites as well. So I'm going to click on VLE, and this is the sign in, and stop right there. The first thing that you got to do is bookmark that bad boy immediately so it populates up here. When you are learning or working in an online learning environment, and some of your parents probably know this, every extra click adds up really quickly in your day. And at the end of the week, you realize, I'm never going to get those 3 minutes back. I should have been efficient. And there are little things, tricks that you'll learn along the way to minimize those clicks. So that's what I've done. I've bookmarked this guy right here. This is the login page. So if you are from another school board, you will log into your virtual environment with your home board login credentials. And the same if you're taking a course, if you're an HPE student and you're taking a course in another school board, you'll log into our VLE just like what I'm showing you here. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, usually you're going to use the same login as the handle of your board Gmail account, your email account. So it'll look something like JA, and then so 2 letters, your first 2 letters of your first name probably, then 3 numbers, and then SO. And this is not real, so if any of you are writing this down frantically to try to get in, this will not be successful. Your password is your usual Google or school board password, and usually that is going to be the 4 digits. Oh, you can't see that. The 4 digits of your birth year, and then the 2 digits of your birth month, and then the 2 digits of your birthday. But you'll probably be familiar with that. And then you click sign in. I'm going to hop up here and show you what it looks like when you sign in. So here is our virtual learning environment. This is the same as walking into school. I mean, there's lots of things going on as you walk into a school. There's going to be a gymnasium, classrooms, the principal's office. This is very similar, except at the top, you have a number of learning tools. and you'll see some more learning tools on Edwin is here. It's pretty good. You'll see, if you're interested in hearing more of my voice after this call, you'll see this video here, which is worth a watch, and it's another guide through how to interact with your classroom successfully and where to find things. On the left-hand side, these white spaces are called widgets. Not that you need to know that, but you'll see My Courses, and your course will appear there. So these are classroom doors, and you can click into any of these classroom doors that you are a part of. And I'm going to scroll all the way. I look at all the classrooms that I am part of. That makes some of you feel queasy, probably. But the class I want to go into is at the very bottom. I think, yep, there it is. It's a summer school class. And I want to pause there. So if you are from another school board, you're going to look for this widget called My Courses and Other Orgs. And here's where you will see our course. Conversely, if you are an HPE student taking a course with another school board, you'll find your course under My Courses and Other Orgs. It's really neat how the VLE kind of spiderwebs all over the province. It's pretty cool. Okay, so let's go into a classroom and see what is going on. You can see that this one's closed. This is from last year.
Pardon?
And Mr. Lidstone probably won't mind. So here is your classroom. And your classroom will probably look a little bit different depending on your teacher and how they've set it up. But there will be some commonalities. So the first thing you'll notice is this widget called Announcements. Every day your teacher is going to say, let's see, this is day 18. Hi, folks. A nice little thing. There's probably a joke in there somewhere. And then this file has been removed just for privacy. But there will be a to-dos. So here's the content for today. Here's what I'd like you to do. Do this. And then your learning is done for that day. And you can see that they populate down. So you can always, every day's learning kind of populates this long list of the learning that you're going to be doing. Submit this here, read this, or watch this. So it's highly organized, and it's organized to encourage student success. So students got to know what they got to do, how they know they're going to be successful, what they need to submit, and by when and where, and what to do if they're having a little bit of trouble as well. The other thing that you should probably do is link your Google account to your workspace. And this is good because if you want to submit a Google Doc, it makes it extremely easy, just like Google Classroom. Probably everybody knows Google Classroom. It's really easy to use. It is not even comparable to the VLE in what it does. So I like to say that Google Classroom is like a Ford Taurus. So if you're of that age where you know what Ford Tauruses are, basically you put the key in, it's a car, and you turn it and you step on the gas and you're on your way. That's Google Classroom. Brightspace is more like an F1 car. My daughter's quite into F1, and when you, I've never done this, but this is an imaginary scenario. When I sit in an F1 car, there are lots of buttons, and I don't even know how to get it to move. And then once I do, I'm probably going to hit something because I don't know how to control it. So what this is that we're doing now is kind of just demystifying all the buttons and where things are, and then it becomes actually extremely intuitive. Down the side, there's going to be a calendar. So here's what's upcoming. This is not current because it's closed now. But today is this, and tomorrow is that, and this is due then. So it's really good to keep yourself organized. This is why it's a broader learning experience in Brightspace than in Google Classroom, because this is really a full classroom experience. At the top, if you hit the little black house, it sends you back to the outside of the school. The content button is probably, this is kind of like your teacher's binder. And this one's organized into units. Within units, there are different activities. But the only way you're going to know what you have to do on any given day is to read the announcements and make sure that you are fully clear on what you're going to be doing. If you're asked to contribute to a discussion, you'll find that here. In class list, you'll get to see your classmates. This is a Dropbox. So when it's time for you to submit something, this is where you would click into a Dropbox or an assignment and Google Drive, or you can upload a document if you're not using Google of some variety, or you could actually just write the assignments in the little word processor that's built in. Grades, I won't show you that one because I didn't realize there were students still in this one. Grades is where you'll find all your grades. So parents, this is probably one of the first places you're going to want to look after about a week and make sure that your student is being successful. And if they're not, then that's an opportunity to have a conversation with, okay, well, you know, are you having difficulty with navigating this? Do you know where to submit things? Have you contacted your teacher? You won't see the course admin one, but basically, and then if you hit the course home, that's going to send you to the course website. So that's a really quick tour of those things. If you want to email your teacher, you can do that right up here in email. And this is what's called a walled garden environment. So this email only goes into the VLE. It doesn't go out to the world, and the world can't come into it. So it's your own private email server for yourself and your classroom. All right. Any questions on the VLE? So I'll pause there, and I don't know, Ms. Ferris, if there are.
There seems to be one maybe that I'm not sure I understand what they're asking is, how do we add all this widgets when we are here?
Okay, so the widgets are controlled by your teacher. So this is the creative potential of Brightspace for your teacher to arrange your learning environment so it suits exactly what the environment your teacher wants to give you. So you don't have control over where those widgets are. You'll just see them as if you would see a web page or a social media post. So I hope that answers the question if I understood it correctly. Okay, Ferris, or?
Excuse me. We've been trying to sign in, but we can't figure it out.
Oh, okay. Are you from Hastings, Prince Edward?
Yep.
Okay. Can you send me an email, and I will take a look, kind of off screen. I'm gonna put my email up here for you right now, and this is, I guess, for everybody.
We're just on call.
Yeah, we can't see it because we're on call.
Okay. Well, did you get the email from me earlier about this meeting?
Yes.
Okay. So just use that email. Send me one with your first and last name and just a brief description of what exactly you're having issue with, and I'll take a look. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming off mute. It's nice to chat with someone.
I have a question just about assessments and like progress reports.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, how will parents and students be able to track if they're getting stuff done and
For
how
sure.
they're doing?
That's a great question. And we'll talk about that really in detail. The short answer is every Wednesday, your teacher will be sending an email to students and families and myself and the student success teacher with an update. With have you been engaging in the course, and is there anything outstanding? And then also, if you have any questions about that, any clarity, you can always email your teacher and get that kind of update as well. I really do encourage parents, your students' teachers will reach out to you, so they'll be establishing that connection. And I do suggest that you you communicate with them. Hey, I know the PRISM report or the communication report will be coming out on Wednesday, but I was just curious today if everything's going okay. So I hope that answers that, but we'll get into that a little bit more deeply.
We have a hand raised, Haley.
Oh,
Do you want to go on mute?
I have a question. When you're done all your work, like do you guys give us more, or like are we just done for the summer?
So when the course is finished at the end of July, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, the course is done July 29th. So there's no more learning, or there's no need for you to demonstrate your learning. After that, that's it. The course is done. On any given day, if you rip through something, it takes you a couple hours, and you're like, okay, I'm done. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. Mr. Sonneveld said 6 hours, but I don't know what to do. Then just always read the announcements and just say, did I do everything? Did I learn everything? Have I really understood everything and submitted everything that I should have? And if the answer is yes, then I say go for a swim.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We just have a question about access. If they have used a different account, I think the answer is that everybody needs an HPE account to be able to access the VLE. But
if you are from another school board, then you can access your school board's VLE using your school board's credentials. And if you're having, you should definitely dry run that. So, the next day, if you're probably doing it right now, if you're like, oh, I'm not sure, then you should reach out to probably the guidance department at your school, and they will forward your question to the right person if there's some issue with your credentials, or you're just not sure exactly how to access that VLE. It's really difficult for me to answer that on my end. There is a me in all the other school boards, and they'll be able to help you solve that problem.
G. Harris has a question.
Yeah.
Hi, yes, thank you so much. So I have two students doing online learning. Is there an opportunity to work ahead, or is that in a course by course basis?
Yeah.
Meaning, like, if my students, we are going away, and if they know that they're not going to log on for a couple of days, are they able to A, make arrangements? Yes, but B, are they also able to work ahead in their lessons?
So that will be teacher dependent, and I really do encourage reaching out to the teacher if you know you have a planned event, to say, can we work ahead for those? Most teachers are going to say yes. Some teachers like to open up the entire content and just let students have at it, which has the downside of being a little bit overwhelming for students, because they do one day and they look at this incredibly long list and they feel like, I'm never going to get through that. So that's not a common practice. More commonly, the learning is paced. So here's the learning for today. Here's the learning for tomorrow. Here's the learning for the next day. But if you're looking to work ahead, definitely reach out to your teacher and ask for that option. I hope that answers that.
Yes, totally. Thank you so much.
I'm just going to answer a question, if that's okay.
Of course.
You're not going to be able to see your course in Brightspace yet. It will not be there until July 2nd. So I know some of you have followed Mr. Sonneveld along, and you're seeing that you don't have the course yet, and that's okay. It will get posted there on July 2nd, and if it isn't there, then please reach out to us and we'll make sure that you get access to the course.
Absolutely. In fact, before, I believe it's on Sunday, the 1st, which is a holiday, you should actually see it, but it'll be grayed out and not clickable. And then it will be all colorful and nice and clickable on the day that the course opens. But just like Ms. Ferris says, if you don't see it, and we're working really hard to make sure everybody will see their courses at the right time. But if you don't, reach out to myself and, put lots of exclamation marks, some kind of emoji that's like you're freaking out, because that will help motivate me to get you connected really quickly. I'm just kidding. I'll do that even if you don't send those emojis.
Christina Rose has a question.
Hi, yes. I missed the first few minutes of the call because I was running late. How many hours approximately are these courses? Because my son just got a summer job.
Yeah.
And I know he's quite a quick worker, but just wondering approximately how many hours of work the course is.
Yeah. So that's a good question. We talked about that. I'll talk about it again because it is for some folks it's a deal breaker, but you have to get your head around this. It's about 5.5 or 6 hours a day according to the register rules that we get from the ministry. So some days it'll be less. It will never be more than that. But that's what you should be shooting for. So, and that learning can happen at any time of the day. So, you know, if work starts at 3 and goes to 7 because they're working on the mini putts, then you want to make sure you do some learning maybe in the morning and then some in the evening. If it's a day job, you want to do that learning in the evening. And it is a commitment. I don't think I can't undersell that fact to you, that it is a lot. And that's because in order to be awarded a credit, a certain number of hours must be presented as opportunity for learning.
So, sorry, just to clarify then, so we're looking at what, about 120, 150 hours?
110, yeah.
110. Okay, thank you.
Ish.
And that has to be done by the end of July.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. That's probably the most common question. Okay. I'm going to move along, Chris, if you're okay with that.
I have a question.
Yep.
For the hours that the students have to be present, now for these lessons, are they going to be recorded? Is there any chance that will be available to students? Like for example, like my son is also looking for a job, but if he gets a day job and he's unable to attend class, is that something that he can go in afterwards when he's done work and then go through the recordings if there's any?
Absolutely.
Going to be?
If there are recordings, they will be static on the page that are playable like a YouTube video, so accessible anytime. There's no one-to-one interactions that are required, so it's not like there is class time that you need to be present for. There's only learning to do and learning to demonstrate throughout the day, and that can happen whatever is convenient or works best for a person's schedule.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. Well, that conversation lends itself really well into attendance. So I'm going to pull out my teacher voice and be a little bit direct here, not to meant to make you scare you off or anything, but definitely to illustrate where the lanes are. I did mention that because summer school is so compressed, there's an entire semester of learning in 20 days. We really have zero wiggle room for things to go sideways, or things not to be done, or mistakes even on the back end in my job. If there's a disconnection technically, we rush as fast as we can to get it corrected. So what does attendance mean for online learning? So according to, and I'll use the term register rules again, these are ministry documents that dictate if and how a credit can be legitimately awarded to a student. Attendance in online learning for summer school means that a student has to log in every day and be actively engaged in their learning every day, with the caveat that most teachers are amenable to making prior arrangements for that, for a day to be missed. So attendance does mean that. We have a number of engines that run in the background. So we have to log student attendance every single day. And that count at the end of summer school is what we send to the ministry. So these rules for attendance are really quite important for awarding the credit and creating that legitimate learning opportunity. So unless there's something going on and you have made prior arrangements, you definitely need to actively engage in your learning every single day. Remember that 1 day of online learning, summer school, is equal to about 5 days of class. So if a student missed a class in regular semester all week without being part of without the teacher knowing, or even with the teacher knowing, that's going to be really difficult to bounce back from if you haven't made a plan. So I really would like that to be the message, that make sure you take ownership of your attendance or your child's attendance. Make those plans prior to, so that the teacher is aware, and also so that your student isn't overwhelmed with the catch-up. Each day is equal to 5 regular school days, and I'm leading up to one of the hardest lined rules in summer school, and that is, according to the register rules, if we submit attendance at the end of the summer school term and the ministry auditors see that a student has been away for 3 days, they will call into question the awarding of that credit. So 3 days is equal to 15 regular school days. And in regular school, we get parents get letters home after 15 days of non-attendance, and really they should be taken off the roll. Now they have opportunity to re-engage after that as well. So in summer school, remember that I said that we have 0 wiggle room for things to go sideways. So after 3 days of non-attendance, without prior communication to the teacher, and the teacher will tell me, students will be removed from roll. What that means is you'll receive in your email, a letter saying the student has been removed from the course. If that is news to you that they haven't attended, or that is upsetting to you, definitely email me and I can provide an opportunity to re-engage in the course, that is to get them back in. But that is one of the rules that I'm obligated to follow. So without sounding too harsh, 3 days, and on the morning of the 4th, I have to remove them from the course. So that's super important. It doesn't normally happen where it catches students or families by surprise. Typically it's oh, I didn't want to take this anymore, or I don't want my students to take this course anymore, and I just forgot to communicate. That's usually what the problem is. And they're like, oh, okay, all right. So before that 4th day, myself, the teacher, and the summer school student success teacher, we're going to be reaching out to you and being like, hey, we're getting up to that 3 days. Is everything okay? Is there a technical problem? Because then we can account for that. Did something happen in your family, or that you needed to go away for those days, but it was unexpected? So one of the themes of tonight is communicate. We're going to over communicate with you, and we really hope that you communicate with us to make this really successful. The first 3 days of summer school are extremely important, that you attend all 3 days. And this is because not all students were able to find a seat in a summer school course, and they're on a wait list. You've probably seen that term come through your emails, waiting for a seat. After 3 days, it becomes extremely difficult for a student to enter into a course. And you can appreciate that after doing the math of 3 days of summer school learning. That's a lot of learning. So a student comes in on the 4th day, that becomes really tricky for them to get caught up. And success is really kind of difficult, overcoming that sense of overwhelm. So be present for the first 3 days of summer school, absolutely, because we're going to be combing really, really carefully to see who's not showing up, and if we can give that missing seat to a student who's in the wait list. So I just want to be really transparent with you on how all of that works. And our objective is, of course, is to not remove anybody from courses. That is actually the opposite of what the whole enterprise is all about. So there's some heavy messages there. I hope you don't take it as such, though. But I will stop for some questions, as I sure expect there to be some.
I've been trying to keep up out here in the chat. It's nonstop. So there's some really great questions. I guess one was like, if you had to be away for camping or away for extended time, just communicating with the teacher could get you a little reprieve from attendance each day.
Yes, that's correct.
As long as you're getting assignments done, right?
Yep. Just like you would in normal face-to-face school. You know, you got to call the school and say, my kid is not there today for whatever reason, but it's okay. You need to communicate with your teacher about that. Otherwise, we get very excited here on the back end when there is kind of an unexplained absence.
I think it's important to know, though, if you miss a whole week of summer school, you're basically missing almost a month and a half of like regular school. So just keep that in mind.
Absolutely. And it's really, really hard to do well in a course when you've missed a month of learning.
Now, getting into the class, is there a class code or are you automatically in it?
No, you're automatically in it. There's no class codes. One of my jobs is to do a whole bunch of wizardry behind the scenes to make sure that you're in your proper class and have access. So if you don't, definitely reach out.
I think I have a question. Like, if someone was waitlisted, how do they know if they're waitlisted? Is there anyone on this call that could have been waitlisted, or is
it's possible. So folks on this call, I pulled the email list from all accepted students. So that will be the majority. If the last email you got from Prism, and we'll talk about that in just a moment, says that you've been waitlisted for a summer school course, and that's the last one, then that would mean that you're on a wait list. We actually have, I think my last count was 9 students only that we were unable to find a seat for at this point, but probably will get seated before the start of summer school. And that's because we expanded our offerings a little bit this year to try to make sure that everybody gets the seats that they need.
Am I correct in assuming that instead of 5 or 6 hours per day, my child can put in less time daily, but also work on the weekends, spread out the time in front of the screen and still meet their deadlines? Is that okay?
Yeah, so there's a couple of good points in there. The first one is the number of hours in front of screen. And that's that's why I spent time at the beginning saying, you know, if you don't want to have to go to the optometrist for, you know, vision-induced headaches, make sure that your student isn't doing 6 hours straight of on-screen learning. Get them up, make them wash the floor, wash the bathroom, whatever, and then get them to come back because that break, there's a lot of science about the breaks. It's not so much the length of time you spend in front of a screen, it's the consecutive amount of time that you spend in front of a screen. So be really mindful of that. So that's the first thing that I got from your question. And the second thing is, yes, absolutely. You can do a little bit less and then get caught up on the weekend. But that really is going to depend on the flow of the learning that's engineered by your teacher. So if there's an assignment or something is due on Thursday, but you say, oh, I'm going to do it on the weekend, that's probably not going to fly too well with the person who is probably the most interested in your success, and that is your teacher. So if you're in those, again, you got to reach out to your teacher, make a little plan, ask if it's going to work given the flow of the learning that they have set up for you. Remember that their job is actually extremely difficult because they're taking that entire course and cramming it into 20 days. So their flexibility is more limited than it would be in a face-to-face class. So there's a lot of things about summer school that you kind of have to get your perception about what the school is like a little bit changed from what you've experienced in a face-to-face classroom. I hope that answers your question.
I have a question that says, if someone has finished all their work and they've reached all their deadlines and then they proceed to miss 3 days in a row, will they be removed from the class?
Yes. Yeah. And if you don't want that to happen, connect with your teacher and connect with me. And if I do remove you after those 3 days, because I don't know your story. All I know is, John has not been present for 3 days, and I have an obligation due to those ministry rules to remove from registers. So knowing that is going to happen, do that upfront communication to prevent that from happening. Or if it does happen and it was a mistake, contact me immediately and I'll get you back in.
The first day of class is July 2nd.
Yep.
If I log in but not for the first time, does it still count as the credit? If I log in but not for the first time, does it still count against the credit? I don't know, Jacqueline, can you clarify the question? I'll go on to the next one, but maybe Jacqueline can clarify.
Or send me an email. Oh, you're there, Jacqueline?
Yeah, I'm here. It's actually my son asking the question, so I'm going to ask him to say it.
If I log in, but like not for 5 or 6 hours, does it still like count as logging in?
Right. So attendance is measured, has that person logged in, but also have they actively engaged in their learning. So we don't count hours for students. I'm not looking that you're on there for 6 hours. That actually doesn't matter to me in my support of you. That only matters to me when I have to communicate to the ministry. What matters to me about you logging in and engaging meaningfully in your learning is that you're learning and you're demonstrating your learning. So what won't happen successfully is if you log in, I'm going to trick the system, I'm going to log in, and then I'm not going to do anything. I don't think there's anybody on this call who would do that, but that quickly gets caught in my conversations with teachers, and we can say, has that active, meaningful engagement with the learning happened or not? Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think it matters what time of day you log in, but
No.
the teacher can tell if you've actually engaged in a lesson. So they can see if you've gone into a lesson. They can track where you've been on the website. So they can see if you just log on and then log back off.
Hi, I just wanted to add to that. So the main point with that is just you'll see that they logged on, and obviously if they're not on there 6 hours, but to clarify, just as long as their assignments are getting done, then they know that they're engaging.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're going through the content, if they're submitting their learning, that's meaningful engagement for me.
And I feel really bad because we had to jump on this conversation late, but so, and a lot of the time, a lot of stuff is just the assignments, and then they'll do them themselves. But sometimes they'll be like, we want screens on at 1 o'clock or whatever, and then the teacher will, want to say some things and have the students be there.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit different than that. So what will happen is teachers will hold what's called office hours once or twice a week, and they'll have a Google Meet open, and folks can pop in if they have questions. But there's no, you have to attend those things.
Oh, okay, awesome. So that's what I mean. So as long as they're logged in, they see they've logged in, he might log off, work on his assignment, and then it'll just be open for the day, like regular school hours. He'll be able to, hi, Mrs. Whatever, and ask his question, get the answer, log back off, continue with his work kind of thing.
That's right. Yep, absolutely.
Perfect.
And the email function is there as well. So if somebody's working on an assignment, they have a question, they can send that question to through the email.
Yeah.
And to their teacher as well. So the teacher's always there.
Awesome. And then same thing, like the other parents were asking, if we end up doing a family trip or something, we would just be able to ask, maybe they would just send a whole bunch of assignments for the day that he was going to miss, or so he'll just still be able to work on it when we're gone if he's not able to log on.
Yep, that'll depend on the teacher, but it definitely depends on that prior communication. And most teachers are going to be pretty open to that.
Yeah. First day was July 2nd. When was the last day? Sorry.
The 29th.
29th. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm good with my questions. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Now the login screen for all students, you can find the link to the VLE on your school website or the board website. But
That's right.
there should also be instructions that will come as an email the week before the school starts. So you'll get the link in an email, just like the one Jason sent to you this week. You'll get another email from the teacher or from Prism with all the instructions on how to log in.
Yeah. Now, we are 8:01, so I know you all have busy nights ahead of you. If you're able to stick on, I only have a couple slides left, and it should go pretty quickly because I think actually we covered most of it already. If you do have to go, thank you for coming. And I'll email out the recording of this in the next couple of days for your review as well. So I wanted to say that. Okay, support. Talked about the wraparound support and how important it is. All of us care really about one thing, and that is students being successful in summer school. And everything that we do comes back to that central point. We have a student success teacher that you'll probably hear from. Her name is Miss Culhane. Her job is to chase around, make sure no one's having technical issues or any other kind of interaction, engagement issues. If your student or yourself is struggling just with, this is summertime, I really don't like doing this. She's there to help that as well. And she has been known upon request to come to somebody's door for help as well. That's not meant as a threat. It's meant as she is amazing and is willing to do whatever she can to help students be successful. The most important person in the summer school experience for yourself or your students is the teacher. And please reach out and recognize that that's what matters to them. As a parent, check in every day with your students. Get them to show you around the course. Make sure they're not doing the sneaky little pretending to work, but really I'm on Etsy or Facebook Marketplace. Those are just the ones my kids do it with. I don't know. I've never been on those things. And recognize that we, parents, families, I should say, myself, guidance counselor, student success teacher, and teacher, we are all, this all works best if we're all communicating and have the same playbook with the students at the center. I hope that's okay. Communications. I talked about the fact that if you're not annoying somebody by communicating too much, you're not communicating enough. That's super important. Every Wednesday, our teachers will send out what's called a Prism email, and it will be an update with a little colored flag indicating how the engagement is going. That is, are they doing stuff? Do they seem they're participating? The student is, active. That's what engagement means. But then there'll be a little comment saying, oh, this assignment is a day late, or you missed this. Or it could even say, keep doing what you're doing. Everything's great. Communicate with the teacher. And midterm reports will be available through Prism. So you get a midterm report. I think the day is the 16th or 15th of July, excuse me. So you get a midterm mark at about that time through a Prism email. And final report cards will be available through the student or parent portal if it gets up and running in time. That's where you can find those report cards, and you'll expect a communication from me showing you where to find those report cards as well. Now, a report card will also be sent to your home school. So then that course gets credited to your transcript. And Ms. Ferris and I am actually working on an easy way for that to happen. Typically in the past, it's been a little bit clunky, but that credit gets on your transcript. If you are a student from another school board, we're gonna mail to you, to your home and to your home school, a copy of that final report card. And I wanna take 1 minute to recommend, if you are a grade 12 student who's graduated, you've applied to post-secondary, but you just need that one credit and you need to show that one last credit to that post-secondary institution for your application. You gotta let your teacher know, and they'll be asking you about this too, and you gotta let me know so that we can put like a fast priority on the production of that report card. and you got to tell us where we have to send it, so that the receiving institution gets that report card in good time and doesn't put into jeopardy your application because they're missing that final credit. So communicate, communicate, communicate. If you haven't thought about that yet, keep an eye out for it when you are doing your applications to post-secondary. Ms. Ferris, is that right?
Yes, we're talking about reports to universities and colleges.
Yes.
Yes, so they'll have to go directly to UAC and UAC and OCAS through summer school.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll need that information. Like ideally you give us your UAC reference number or your OCAS number so that it can be sent and connected to your account right away.
That's perfect. Thank you. Okay, so you've received a few emails already saying you've been waitlisted or you've been accepted. And Prism is our communication tool that we use to make all of this happen. And so this, every Wednesday, you're going to get something that looks like this. It won't be black. I have some kind of black filter on my thing right now, my email. That's why it's black. But it'll say, hello, your teacher has updated your progress in the course. Total absences, none. Attendance issue, no. Credit alert, no. Credit alert, that means, if it says yes, that means that if you continue doing what you're doing, your success in the course is in question. And then there's going to be a comment, and then an email as well, and then a mark at midterm as well. So every Wednesday, you should get those. You will get another Prism email from me next week, as Ms. Ferris indicated, outlining, reminding you of the rules of summer school, reminding you of how to be successful in summer school. It'll provide the link to the VLE as well, and advice on how to log in, and give you a whole bunch of other things related to all the usual school things that you want to know. Okay, the last thing that I wanted to talk about really quickly, in the age of AI, what does online learning looks like? The days of teachers asking questions in the online learning environment that are easily Googleable or AI-able are really quickly vanishing. And instead, teachers are asking questions where they actually encourage you to use AI to do some of the generative work, but then they're going to ask you to have some critical analysis, some opinion, explain how you use what AI generated, what changes you made, and how it fits into the expectations of that. So you'll want to talk to your teacher about that. If you've used AI for an assignment, you want to declare that in an honest, integrity manner. Teachers may be asking you questions, follow-up questions to your assignments, like what main topics or ideas did you focus on? What did you find most challenging or difficult? You know, if you use AI, then what changes did you make to the AI? So these questions are coming into education in order to really leverage or make use of those AI tools, which really are pretty amazing. So you'll want to connect with your teacher about that, and they'll be giving you some language about that. They may say, do not use AI on this assignment. Or they may say, you can use AI, but in this way. And they'll be expecting you to show your thinking and progress. So they may ask you for snapshots of your work as you go along as well. So just a heads up for that your teachers are pretty well versed in teaching and helping their students learn in the age of AI. And that's probably the shortest AI talk you're going to hear these days. Well, that depends on your teacher, Chloe. I see that. So AI is allowed sometimes. That will depend on your teacher, but you'll see that increasingly so, yes. But they will tell you how you can use it, and then you'll have to be accountable for why you used it, how you used it, and how it ties into what you're trying to achieve. Okay, that was really quick. Ms. Ferris, final questions before I send us off?
we've got a couple here, but we've cleaned up most of them. But yeah, do you want to just ask your question? You had your hand up a second ago.
Yeah, I was asking, I didn't hear you properly. When did you say that the final grade will be sent out, and what day and who will be sent out, like the student or the parent?
The final report card. Okay, so no, I think I understand. So you'll know what your final grade is in Brightspace. You'll go in grades and you'll see your final grade. You'll know your final grade because a Prism email will be sent to you, the student, also to your family about what your final grade is. And then your final report card will be available in Aspen if you're from HPE, or if you're from another school board, it'll be mailed to you. So probably takes a couple weeks if the mail is running for you to get that. If it's not running, I'll probably figure out some way to email it to your homeschool and to your families.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question.
Xavier, do you have a question too?
Yeah, I just got the video chat to work. Which web page is it? To log in.
Oh, to log in. Okay, I can show you that. So if you go to the board, the Hastings Prince Edward District School Board webpage, so that's hpedsb.on.ca. You should find this. You could also do your school. Are you from Hastings Prince Edward, Xavier?
Yeah, I am from Trenton.
Okay, so you could even go through your Trenton website too, your Trenton High School website. You'll see this button at the top. It's really tiny. When they were designing this, I suggested something about this big, but that didn't happen. So it's just really tiny. It's called VLE. You click that, and then that's where you put your usual login credentials.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
We had some questions about like assignments. Like most assignments, are they done like in Brightspace, or can they use Google Docs, slides? Just maybe can you elaborate on the assignments and how you upload them or share them with the teacher?
Yeah, for sure. So when you go to the assignment bucket, so if I click on that one, I'm not going to do that this time, but because I'm not a student. But if, oh, actually, you know what? I could show you what it looks like. Okay, so now I'm a student and I go into assignments. And so I want to submit this assignment. And there's whole stuff like, okay, here's your assignment. So there's multiple ways for you to do this. And this is actually pretty neat. You can just text right in here. So you can do the whole assignment right here if you want to. You can actually record a video as your assignment submission, if that's appropriate, if your teacher said that's okay. You can record an audio if that works for your teacher, or you can add a file. And if you add a file, you can grab from your Google Drive, or you can grab from your computer, whichever you prefer to work in. Now, your teacher might ask for a specific file format, like a PDF or something like that, but that is it.
Now, if I've missed any questions, if anyone has any other questions, do you put your hand up? I don't know if Yug and Xavier still have another question, or if your hands are just still up.
I have a question. Yeah.
Okay.
So sorry, I forgot to ask. What day will the final report cards be sent out?
Usually takes us 2 days to process everything, so they'll be sent out. I wasn't ready to talk about this yet. I'm still thinking about tomorrow, Yug, but I'm happy to take a look at it. The 29th. Oh, so it should probably be done being processed on the 31st of July, or maybe the 1st of August. I think that's a holiday. I always forget. So it'll probably be processed on the 31st, and then if I'm mailing it to you, it usually takes about 2 weeks. But if you're going into Aspen to get it, it should be there right away.
Okay, thank you. I also have another question. Could you go back to the VLE?
I can, yep.
Yeah, so you see those like things on the top that says course home, content, discussion? When I
Yep.
logged in, I didn't have any of that. So how would I get all those?
Okay, hold on. So when you log into the VLE, you're probably going to have TVO Mathify, G Suite. Do you have those?
Yeah, and I also have my blueprint and Aspen. That's all I have.
Yeah. So because I am you're a student and I am this is my house, so I have options. So this is what yours is going to look like.
Okay.
That means it's all good. You got everything you want. Now you're not going to see staff tools. You're going to see student tools, and you'll probably see that video. But once you log in to, once you click into one of your classrooms, that's when your view will change, and you'll have more of those options available to you.
Okay, and will the classroom will be like on the day of like July the 2nd? What time would it be on?
Oh, actually, that's a pretty good question. So all learning is available before 8 a.m.
Okay, thanks. That's all I have for that.
All right. I hope you're not working at 4 a.m., y'all. You gotta get your sleep. You're too young not to sleep. Xavier?
All right,
Since I just got into the video call, would there be a video getting sent out for us?
Yeah, so I'm gonna. Did you receive an email from me about this invite?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna email out probably tomorrow or Monday. I'll send a recording of this out to you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, folks. I'm happy to stay on longer, but I will close it down officially. I wanted to say good luck and have fun. I hope it's a great summer. There's my email, so please. I'll regret saying this, but please flood it with your questions. And Ms. Ferris also flood her. Actually, email her before me because she is way busier than I am, and she's more used to that. So.
but if you're from East Side, I'm at East Side. So yeah, if you're from East Side, send them to me.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Ferris. I really appreciate it. And look for more emails from me. If you want to hang on to the call after I say goodbye, you're welcome to do that. Have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.